Previously on One Bag, One World. Welcome to Namibia. Over the next 9 days, we're going to be exploring this country. It's just completely open.
It's just in. American Tourist dies.
Jeff, how could you say that?
I feel like we should talk a little bit about last night.
I was frozen. I don't know if I slept.
Oh, God.
My heart is like racing.
There you go, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
So we just basically had kids stand in the road, lie down in front of our car.
You need to tell them.
Yeah. We were driving down this road and 4 kids were just like standing in the road, which whatever is fine. And we slowed down, whether it was right or wrong, I don't know. And then they just stood in front of the car, one laid down. And then, you know, they started asking for food or money. They're like, please help us, we're starving. And we just kept trying to inch forward. And then, yeah, you know, we couldn't see the kid in front of us. So, you know, it's like, what do you do? You know, is it worth just driving? Obviously for us, no, I think the first mistake was slowing down. So we were like, all right, look, we'll give you, you know, we had 5 Namibian dollar coin, which is something like 25 cents. And we're like,
it's not like they came to the road once we were there. They were in the road.
no,
standing.
I said they were standing in the road.
Yeah, I'm not gonna run over a child.
No, yeah. So we ended up giving them the money, but we're like, you guys need to get far away because you're not running back in front of the car to make more money after this. So anyway, he told his friends to basically bugger off. We gave him $5 and then we sped off. We saw another car coming the other way thinking they were tourists. We flagged them down. Turns out he's a local. We told him, you know, hey, they're kids. They're going to try and lay in front of your car or whatever. He's like, don't worry, we'll sort them out. We're locals. I think he just sped through it.
He went through like 120 miles.
Yeah, he did not slow down and they just ran out of the way. So I think that's our lesson. We just don't stop and hope to God that they move. That was a little scary. Not a decision I really want to have to make on a day-to-day basis. But he also had the time in our brief interaction to tell us that how much of a shithole the US is because of Biden, which is, I just have to take a moment to say, like, I'm not going to get into politics right here, but when you are American and you travel abroad, every single person feels like they have the right to talk about your politics. And I get it. We're a major player on the global scale, but it is really, really exhausting because it's funny, you know, when I go to places like Egypt or something like that, you know, you don't talk about the government. When you're in Thailand, you don't talk about the government, Vietnam, whatever, China, etc., etc. But everyone has a right to talk about it in the US.
Look at this interaction. All we wanted to say is, hey, up ahead, you're going to see this. Just be aware of it. And he's like, fuck America.
We have our problems, so does everyone in the world, you know, but just give it a rest.
Just leave us alone and let us travel.
Yeah, it's like, how many minutes into this conversation is it going to take until someone wants to talk to us about gun violence or American politics?
I'm going to start saying I'm from Canada. I'm getting tired of this.
I finally get why people wear Canadian, you know, pins on their bags, and I think I'm going to start adopting it. Anyway, that was our fun little experiment for today. Got a good little adrenaline dump, and we're going to continue on to what should be a very promising afternoon stop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination for the day and why we have driven for the last 4 hours on dusty, dusty roads. We are in Deadvlei, whatever, can't really pronounce it, National Park. Now this is the famous place in Namibia where you see those giant sand dunes. And maybe if that isn't jogging your memory, you see a bunch of like dead stick trees in front of that. That's Deadvlei, and that is where we're going to right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you our Google Maps in a second, and we're about to drive over a lake. And we've noticed this everywhere in Namibia, but basically everywhere Google Maps says there's water, it's just a complete wasteland. And I know we're here in the dry season, but it's just always funny. Just one time I want to see water, and you can kind of see that it looks like a lake bed. There's Google Maps, telling us lies, and there's absolutely no water anywhere to be found.
So we just entered the last little bit. It is 4x4 only with a $500 fine if you enter this park without it. It is a difficult ride. The sand is super deep. Hey, there's those things again.
Welcome to Deadvlei. Kind of. I think we have to walk a little bit further down there to where the dune actually starts. This is as far as we could drive.
We saw one vehicle stuck, and the drive is let's just say bumpy.
Come on, little Tacoma.
And it makes sense why you have to have four-wheel drive, otherwise they would be rescuing people all day long. So there's this movie called The Cell, and actually most people have not heard of this movie, but it's with Jennifer Lopez. This movie was really good. It was filmed here, and they did one of their key scenes here.
Thank you for the horse. You liked him.
That's exactly where we are.
Oh man, this sand is hot. Do not recommend sandals. I'm hoping it's just over this hill. Car park is way that way, and there's Bree. Standing strong.
So we walked around for about 5 minutes. It is so unexplainably hot down here, but it's so spooky and beautiful, and I love it. I wish we could spend a little more time here, but definitely time to go and get some water.
I did this during the hike, rolled down my pant leg, and about half of Namibia came out of it. I only did one though, so maybe I could try and capture if it's as equally bad on the other one. Oh yeah. That's how fun that was. All right, off to the campsite. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next campsite for the evening. Maybe I'll actually set up our camping chairs right here. We've got a little patio, sink. They didn't tell us if it was drinkable. Another sink for sinky activities. Shower, definitely gonna use that. Toilet, probably gonna use that. And our bedroom with beautiful assistant.
Let's check out the dust situation. Look at this. Ready? So we're trying to make some burritos for dinner, but the wind is not making this very easy. So we have to make them in our bathroom, which is a little bit gross. Bird poop. And that's where we had to put it to keep it out of the wind because it kept blowing out.
Welcome everyone to the belly of the beast, aka our humble abode. And it is, I don't know, over here, windy, if you can't tell. So we just kind of rushed, got ready for bed, finished eating. We had some peppermint tea in the car, saw a beautiful sunset, but then the wind really started picking up, so we had to get everything up here. And we've got a little lantern thing up here, keeping it a little cozy. And what temperature was it supposed to be tonight?
It's gonna be 32 degrees Fahrenheit tonight.
Which is, or is it not freezing? I can't remember. Is that where water freezes? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The wind is howling. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is gonna be a noisy sleep.
We're gonna hunker down and put on our thermal layers, which we've been carrying around for a long time, specifically for this one very reason.
Hopefully we can sleep.
So, Bree and I are here trying to watch a show. I hope the mic's picking me up because it's incredibly loud in here. It's just a cacophony of noise from the flaps flapping. The wind is insane. It's 15 miles an hour and it's going up basically 1 mile an hour every hour up until like 24. It's so loud right now and it's gonna get even faster. I'm not gonna be able to sleep when it's this loud. Right now it's quiet. I'm gonna turn this back on when it gets really loud. Good morning from basically hell. It's still extremely windy. And Bree and I ended up sleeping in the car all night. I slept in the passenger seat. She slept in the back. And this has been the bane of our existence. What we found out is that these little metal things that hold the flaps up on the side are actually pretty important because they stop that from flapping around. But throughout the night we set it up once or twice and They just kept coming out because the wind was way too strong. It was impossible to fight with. All right, coffee time.
We left Camp Hell, and there's so much sand blowing over the road that you can barely see what's in front of you. This is just insane.
So we're almost to Swakopmund, which is our overnight stay for 2 days to break up this trip a little bit, and after last night, give us some much needed sleep. And it feels like we're driving through a fake movie set, almost. I mean, I know all movie sets are fake, but just this white sand desert on the right, this coast on the left. Through the clouds, you see this massive shipping container ship, and then this like street lined with palm trees and apartments. It's just everything feels very surreal. It's a very weird place.
We made it into our apartment, which you can see is an absolute disaster because this is the first time since Tanzania that we've been able to wash our clothes and spread out a little bit. So it's been about 2 weeks, and we're so tired of the dust. So if you need us, we'll be doing laundry in this beautiful place. Good morning from our beautiful apartment where we spent the last day and a half doing absolutely nothing. We did 3 loads of laundry. We didn't leave our apartment except to get dinner, and we just hung out looking at this incredible view. And what's incredible also about this apartment is that it was only $60 a night for this. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's massive. But we are headed off to something that pretty much is the big reason we did this trip. We're doing the Skeleton Coast.
All right, what is the Skeleton Coast? It's a good question because we didn't really know for a long time ourselves either. We just knew that we wanted to come here because it looked beautiful. It got its name from the amount of whale and seal carcasses and bones that were littering the coastline due to the whaling industry back in the day. However, in more modern times, it's kind of become synonymous with the shipwrecks that have occurred here over the years. Now, the local tribe, the indigenous tribe from this area, also referred to as Bushmen, they called it the land God made in anger. So it's clear that for a long time, and even to the indigenous people, even if they weren't too seafaring, that this has been a dangerous part of the Namibian coastline. The Portuguese once referred to it as the gates of hell. So that should provide some context into what we're about to see. So we're basically going on a shipwreck tour, and we're hoping to see some well-preserved ones. There are about 4 or 5 major shipwrecks that have occurred along this coastline, and we're going to see, I think, maybe about 3 of them if we're lucky. The first one starting in about the 1500s, and they've continued all the way up until 2013. They say that there are over 1,000 shipwrecks on this coastline. However, I think most of them are much smaller vessels, so we're really going for the big ones. And you know us, we love our little abandoned and destroyed things like the mining town that we did earlier. So hopefully we get some good shots. Let's go find some shipwrecks. We are officially in the Skeleton Coast National Park, and we are going towards a gate in the middle, Springbok Gate or something. So suppose if you transit through here, you don't have to pay, but I don't know why you wouldn't transit through here. Maybe there's a place to stay further up because we're not actually driving the whole thing. We're driving like the first third to first 1/2, something like that.
We just arrived at the Zayla shipwreck. Our car was bombarded with people trying to sell us gemstones, and it's pretty impressive. It's still in the water, so we can't get too close, which for some reason I thought you could maybe explore some of these, but I would imagine that in low tide, maybe you could take a look. First shipwreck complete. Now we're headed to the second one.
All right, we're looking for shipwreck numero dos right now, and there's no real official location that I could really see, at least on Google Maps. But based on some other maps and blogs and someone on Reddit that I saw, there's a fishing place called Winston Wreck, which I think is the wreck of the Winston ship, maybe. We just passed a sign for it. It doesn't line up with the Winston Wreck fishing area, which we did find on Google Maps. So we're just gonna take this weird looking dirt road. We see a car down there. I think it might be fishing, but we're just gonna drive down to the coast and see what we can see. It looks like we've made it down to the beach and there's nothing. I don't know if a shipwreck is in the cards right now. Well, we found something. Maybe it's the shipwreck? You be the judge. So Bree and I were just talking, and this is actually really cool. We are in the middle of Africa, just 4x4ing across a beach. And there aren't many places in the world where you kind of get the freedom to do this. It's just cool. And literally cool also. It's actually quite cold with the breeze from the ocean. She's locked me out. So you can already see the clouds on the coast that kind of made this region notorious.
Oil rig time. So this is not on the coast, so it's nothing that washed up, but it looks like it was just an oil rig that was in the middle of nowhere, probably dried up and abandoned, so maybe at one point Namibia had a really good oil scene. I don't know.
Oh man, you can see the metal's all rusted out everywhere and just falling apart.
Just don't touch anything.
Yeah. We did get our tetanus boosters before taking this huge trip. I'm absolutely just getting sandblasted right now, and it's not that enjoyable. That being said, this is actually pretty cool because we're the only people here. Bree is just alone in a field of debris. Debris! Exiting the Skeleton Coast. We almost missed this place because I forgot to put it in our GPS, but we came across a sign because there's only one road on the coast, and we're at a seal colony. And I think this is the biggest seal colony in Namibia. So it was about $9 US each for us to get in here, and hopefully we get to see a ton of seals. It smells terrible. Oh, fucking A. That's...
Oh my god.
Oh, that's putrid. Oh my god, that really smells awful. I actually might leave my jacket in here so it doesn't smell. So it's weird that we have this frame of reference, but it smells like very pungent ferret crap.
I cannot believe how close you can get to the seals here. I've never been this close to seals, and actually it's a little bit scary because they can come off as a little aggressive. And for whatever reason, I didn't know that they sounded like sheep, but it's very loud and kind of like a bleh sound.
As we've been driving along this road, we've seen these like little tables with pink things on them, and we just decided to pull over and take a look because they're completely unmanned and they are just giant rocks of salt. So we've driven by a couple salt mines here, and they must just, I guess like the workers, put out these big blocks of rock salt, and then it's just an honor system. There's a little cup on each table, and in front of them, written in like red paint, is just the price of each rock. They're pretty impressive, actually.
They're really cool. So the most expensive one is 80. So what is that, $4?
$4.
And it's massive. So we've arrived at our campsite for the evening. It's like 6:15, so we got here just in time to not be driving on the road at night. We are in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around. So much so that when Jeff and I arrived and we checked in, we had to sign a waiver stating that we understand the risks of this campsite because there are a lot of wild animals everywhere. So we have to be in bed and ready to not leave again past that because yeah, there are like risk of lion attack and, you know, any wild animal could cause you problems. So now we're rushing to put up to bed. Every fucking day. Here's the entrance to our bathroom. toilet, not in good shape. And our shower with a mirror. So right now Jeff and I are just hanging out in the car with the AC on because it is so hot outside.
33 degrees.
33 degrees. We decided to opt for a meal made in the campsites restaurant for tonight because honestly cooking outside's getting a little rough. There's always like wind or animals, or we get to our campsite too late and it's dark and we have to share a headlamp, so we're gonna just take advantage of the fact that they even have a restaurant here. If you can't tell, we're pretty tired.
Yeah, it was a long drive today, seven hours.
Yeah, it's a
And we
long drive.
Tried to make it to a gas station, but it closed at 5 when we got there at like 5:20.
So I think we're just gonna wrap up today right now because we're gonna go eat and then faceplant.
In the heat.
But we'll see you tomorrow for our self-driven safari.
Boom, baby!
Good morning from Team Struggle, where last night I think we barely slept because it was so hot. And there was also a mosquito menacing our tent for a long time, so Jeff got torn up, but we're awake and ready to leave this campsite.
Yep. We have a 2-hour dash to get gas because we're running low, and then it's self-drive safari day, which we couldn't be more excited for despite our outward appearance.
Woo! Let's go! Welcome to our beautiful campsite for the night. Here is our little walk up, and this is kind of our bathroom area. And you roll around the corner here, and you have my favorite part, a Western clean toilet. It's glorious, with toilet paper, huge win. Around this corner, we have our shower with not one shower head, but 2 shower hooks. These are not everywhere, I don't know. It's very underrated. And a bathroom mirror where I can actually see myself, which is great because usually the mirrors are like this small. But right now we're getting ready to head out on our self-towards safari and we're really excited. Also, I don't think that I've had a chance to mention this, but obviously earlier in this video we've talked about how robbery, theft, crimes of opportunity are really big here in Namibia. So when we get stuff out of the shell of our truck, we have to individually lock and unlock every single lock just to be safe. And the crazy part is when you go to unlock your vehicle, only the driver's side door will unlock. The back doors stay locked. And then if you want to unlock those, you have to do them all separately because it's super dangerous here in Namibia to have them all unlocked. Let's go! They're big. They're so much bigger than you give credit for.
So we just came around the corner and we saw our first big sighting, a massive herd of elephants. And we saw a lot of elephants in Tanzania, and I mean a lot, but never this many in one group. There are...
Gosh, there's so many.
Bree's trying to count.
Maybe like 30. Maybe 30 and a lot of babies. So far in Etosha, I know this is going to come as a shock, but haven't seen a lot. Nowhere near the amount of animals as Tanzania, but at least we saw elephants, which is super cool. And we don't have a tall vehicle like in Tanzania. We could stand up and be able to kind of view over the plants and everything, but here it's just kind of driving through, and what you see by the side of the road is what you get.
We We are very clearly on the road at the moment. We're about an hour outside of Windhoek, so we figured we'd take this as a good opportunity to wrap up, which if you're new to our videos, we always try to wrap up with our final thoughts and, you know, closing thoughts basically on our experience here and if we do it again. So Namibia was great. I'm glad I came here. It was interesting. You could definitely feel, at least at some points, the tension, maybe the underlying racism, kind of alluding to the sad history of pretty much every post-colonial African country. I mean, you definitely feel for the people here. Very in your face, you know, the kids laying down in front of our car was tough to see. I felt for them. I don't know if I would come back right away. You know, for a safari experience, Tanzania was above and beyond probably the greatest thing I could have hoped for. That being said, all the Namibian people that we had one-on-one interactions with were incredible.
So I loved Namibia, but mostly I loved it for the Namibian people. I think, like Jeff said, there's a lot of underlying tension here because of the poverty and probably like racial issues. Like there's definitely a divider here that you can feel in the air, just no matter what town, what city you're in, and that's really heartbreaking, and I hope that they can come together as a country. Somebody told us when we were in line at one of the national parks that one of the most beautiful things about Namibia is that there's nothing to see and that it's so empty. And this is one of the most empty places we have ever been. But I really enjoyed our time here, and I'm excited to see what Namibia does with its tourism future, because I think it's going to be very bright.
Well, thank you from both of us so much for watching our video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so that you can get notifications when the next one drops.